Hello, everyone. Now I know what everybody talks about with StreamYard. So I'm sitting here and I have the live. I'm trying to do it. I was able to do it on Facebook last time. Oh, okay. So it is. It is on Facebook right now. Okay. Let me see more. Hi, Chihuahua. Let me click on it. And I don't want there to be an echo. Sorry, you guys, just a moment. Okay. I don't know if I put it on mute on Facebook. Let's see. I'll put it onto this other screen here. So, I hope everyone saw I put a post because for some reason when I scheduled it on StreamYard, it says 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you know, like it does, like it usually does. But my thumbnail on YouTube said it was supposed to start like at 10:04 in the morning. So I had to go quickly and update the thumbnail. I don't know what happened, but hopefully people, yesterday on the New Orleans Gardener Live, I mentioned that I was going live, and I thought Growing Out the Box was supposed to have a live too, and I was checking his page um to see if he was going live, and I didn't see anything scheduled. So I was like, okay, what's going on? I know that Hands in the Dirt Bouger and Nikki um canceled their wind down Wednesday today. So yeah. So you have me. And as you guys all know, I do food recalls. I'm trying to do them every quarter. I'm trying to step up. I used to do them every every 2 weeks or once a week, and then it became a lot because we have a lot. There are food recalls coming out every day from the FDA website and FSIS every day, every day. So, yeah. So then I went to like once a month, and then I didn't mean to stop, but life just takes over. And so I'm starting to get back into the food recall. So I thought, let's talk about why we in this country, why we have food recalls. We have a huge food supply, and our food supply is being affected by so many things all the time. Um, so it's good to know that's why a lot of us are becoming backyard gardeners, backyard urban homesteaders. People are buying, our families are pulling together and buying acreage. I'm sorry that my background looks weird. Um, buying buying acreages and trying to grow their own food. Um, I was born in 1974, and I've changed a lot on how I get food because my mother was born in 1948. And so she came up in a time where everything was natural. She says she remember her grandparents, not great grandparents. No, her great grandparents um going to the backyard and slaughtering a chicken, and then they would eat the chicken that night, to her becoming a mom and going to the grocery store and buying ragu. So she grew up when everything was very natural. But then as time moves on and you start to have a family and you have to work, she started doing things that were more convenient for her. For instance, she used to make probably her own spaghetti sauce. She used to make her own cornbread. And then as she was a single mom, she started buying Jiffy Mix and box cakes because it was just easier to use. And with that, when you have major entities and corporations that now are supplying your food instead of us growing our own, things when it comes to food safety can be overlooked or just mistakenly overlooked. I'm not going to say anything is done on purpose. There's a few things. You have certain bacteria like listeria, salmonella, botulism, E. coli that just come. Hey Mike, how you doing? That just come into our atmosphere. And then there's other things that I've been saying for a long time that when I see a recall that says there's metal in the food and people are like, how's metal getting in the food? Well, when they're canning our food and all of these jars and packages and everything is going on the conveyor belts, these are machines. Our food is touching machines, and machines fail. They fail at times, and sometimes there might be a piece of metal here, there may be some oil here, there can be all kind of contaminants. Then you have humans touching our food. So this is why the recalls are so important, for you to see what's happening with our food supply. So this is why I wanted to take a little deep dive into recalls. Most of you know when I do a recall video, they are at minimum usually an hour long because I'm detailed and I'm going through that video and telling you what's going on. And if it has E. coli, listeria, or salmonella, you guys know that I go in there and tell you what it is, what the symptoms are, and what to look for. And one thing I always say is, if it says take it back to your place of purchase, take it back to your place of purchase and get your money. Get your money. He said a pizza tiller can break off and grow in the food. Yes, yes. It and it's just something that we just don't think about. We just think everything is okay. And then you have to think about, okay, we all know McDonald's. Everybody has eaten McDonald's from time to time. I went to Australia in 2007, and the first place we hit was McDonald's because we were hungry. But I don't know if the McDonald's arches still say millions and millions served daily or billions and billions served. But how are they feeding that many people on a daily basis? How are they reproducing that much meat to feed people? How are their suppliers growing all those potatoes? So to feed millions and millions of people a day, not one restaurant has ever ran out of meat. Their shake machine, their ice cream machines tend to break down a lot, but just they don't run out of bread, they don't run out of meat, they don't run out of anything. It's amazing. So let me go ahead and get into food recalls. So let's start with the history, and this is stuff that I printed out. I don't know if you can print it out. Okay, so it says United States food recalls began in the early 20th century industrial canning crisis and evolved into a structured federal mandate. Major milestones include the first canned olive botulism recall in 1920. Hey, how you doing, Ann? And the 1973 canned mushroom recall, removing 73 million cans of mushrooms. And in 2011, the Food Safety Modernization Act giving agencies mandatory recall powers. So that's just a little bit. We've had two major botulism outbreaks in our country. I call them the Orange Baron. I don't call them that. Uh, So in 1920, the first major U.S. recall occurred after botulism outbreaks from improperly canned olives killed multiple people, threatening the commercial canning sector. That was the first major botulism outbreak. The second one was in 1973. A massive botulism outbreak linked to canned mushrooms triggered a 75 million can recall and modernized low acid food safety rules. Then in the 1990s, and I think I remember this, yes, deadly E. coli outbreaks such as the Jack in the Box crisis pushed the Clinton administration and USDA to implement HACCP, Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point Pathogen Reduction rules. So this is why we have recalls, because contaminated food or infected food can kill and trigger millions of people. So United States food recalls are actions taken by manufacturers or requested by agencies. So you guys notice when I do my recall videos, hey Christopher, how you doing? You notice I go to the FDA website and I go to the FSIS, which is the USDA Food Safety and Inspection Services. Okay, so let's get into those. So both of these are governing agencies and authority. Excuse me. So FDA versus USDA, they're FSIS. It says the FDA oversees most foods, while the USDA, which is FSIS, handles meat, poultry, and processed egg products. So that's why you got to capture both, because one is going to do something a little different than the other, but they're both there for the same reason, is to let us know about what food is not good for us right now, and then other things. So then you have voluntary recalls versus mandatory recalls. So most recalls are voluntary actions initiated by companies through the FDA. So though the FDA has the legal authority to mandate a food recall if a company refuses. So they're like, hey, you can volunteer to do this. Let us know. It'll look good on you if you volunteer. But if something happens and they don't want to volunteer, the FDA is like, well, now we finna make it. We finna announce that we are recalling this and we're making you take back this food because it's no good. You're gonna affect the public. So, getting into recalls and why we need to review them. So, reviewing food recalls helps protect you and your family from serious health risks like severe food poisoning, allergic reactions, and injuries from foreign objects, which I was just talking about a few minutes ago with machinery in our food supply. Checking active notices lets you spot unsafe items in your pantry or fridge before anyone can get sick. So, the main reasons to check for recalls. Number one is to avoid germs, such as harmful bacteria like Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria. When I'm reading recalls and I see those three, I get very attentive to see what's going on. You notice I may repeat where the food was distributed to. When was it distributed? I get very detailed about it, and I'll start telling you what you can get from those harmful bacteria. It's just important, and it's scary. So I want everyone to know what's going on. Like, do you have this in your freezer? You need to check and try to keep your receipts. Sometimes me and my mother may go shopping. We might in one day go to Smart and Final, go to Stater Brothers, maybe go to Albertsons because Albertsons don't have what Stater Brother has. And then we might go to Costco, or then we might go to Sprouts. And I keep all those receipts. My mom's like, you want to throw these receipts away? And I'm like, no, because it might be a major recall and later on down the line. So I try to keep those receipts for about a week or so. A second reason to check for recalls is protect yourself against allergies. I am allergic to a lot of things. Um, I'm allergic to dairy, upsets my stomach. I am allergic to shellfish. Shellfish can kill me. It could kill me. I have to be careful with it. I have EpiPens. Um, I am moderately allergic to eggs. It's not bad, but I get like stomach cramps, and I have one medication I'm allergic to. I'm allergic to four things, right? So, protect against allergies. Find hidden or undeclared allergens like milk, nuts, or wheat that are missing from product labels. Or sometimes it could be different. Sometimes the products may say it has almonds and it really has soy. And somebody's allergic to soy. So they have to let you know that's not an almond, that's a soybean or something like that. Um, Remember these services barely hanging on unfunded show. Remember these services barely hanging on, underfunded, and the professional chased out or fired. Yep, yep. I've been actually seeing a lot of stuff right now with news stations. Like they've been announcing, one guy said, I guess he was one of the helicopter for traffic or whatever, and he was like, we have now officially like been terminated. They're using AI to do stuff like that. So it's, it's in the food industry, it's in all type of industries right now. Another physical, so if you get a recall, probably way worse than you can imagine. Yep. Yep, it's probably way worse than you can imagine. And right now, I think the recall on bacon, and then I just did a recall video. I think it was on some lettuce. I think it was Taco Bell on the lettuce. Okay, the third point is prevent physical harm. Spot dangerous foreign objects like broken glass, metal shards, or plastic pieces in processed food. And I've seen that a lot when I read the recalls. They're like, watch out for metal pieces in your food. Watch out for plastic in your food. Why? Because the food is on conveyor belts and machines break and stuff breaks off in your food. So yeah, you're bound. How about oil? What is that channel? I don't know if it's not the Home Shopping Network, or is it Nat Geo? But there's this program to say how things are made, or how your food is made or whatever, and they a lot of times they pick three things. Like they might pick a cheese factory in Switzerland, how they make this cheese, or how your chocolate is made, and they show you this is what they do from the time them mixing up the dry ingredients, and then they put the dry ingredients in here, and it's going through the conveyor belt, and it sprays milk or whatever. How do we know that nothing is getting into that milk when they're spraying it into the cake mix or whatever, right? So yeah, you got to watch out for foreign objects in your food. The fourth thing is save money. And this is one thing I always say: save money. Check if you can return an unsafe item to the store to get a full refund. Let me tell you, we in California, money is tight. Money is tight right now. Gas is expensive. So if you've paid $25 for a pack of steaks or a pack of chicken for your family, and that chicken is bad, take that back and get your $25 and go put some gas in your car. Or maybe you can find some other meat somewhere else that'd be $10 cheaper. Go get your $25 and go spend $15 somewhere else for some meat that might be fresher. You know, you never know. Try to catch a deal. So, yeah, the machines. Mike says the machines don't stop when janitors swing a mop. Yep. Let me clean up this mess. Whoosh. Mop water. Mop water in your soda. Yep. It can happen. It can happen. So it says, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to think about, but stuff happens. And then, you have humans that don't wash your hands, right? What are we gardeners always saying? Wash your food, wash your hands. And how many people are coming on, I'm gonna say what everybody else says, Beyonce's internet, talking about they don't use washcloths. I don't wash my hands. And this is why I don't eat at potlucks anymore, because I don't know if somebody's cat Fluffy is walking on a counter and cat fur is in that casserole. Like people are literally like, you don't gotta wash your hands all the time, and you're a dirty heifer when you say that. You're dirty. You're dirty. Wash your butt crack. Wash everything. If you don't want to wash your tail, then you're dirty. So it says here you can check current U.S. notices anytime that you want to. You sign up for direct email alerts. You don't have to wait for me, but I appreciate that you guys wait for me. So, hey, I'm going to keep on doing the recall videos. What to do if you've already ate a recalled food, go to the doctor. And a lot of times, if it is like E. coli or salmonella or listeria, you may not know for weeks. Like a lot of these people ate at Taco Bell with this lettuce. Yep. Facts, see it every day at work. Yes. Yes. People are dirty. But one thing I noticed with all these recalls, you may not remember what you ate. Now wait a minute, Mike. I got a coworker who brags he don't believe in washing. Always sick. Mm-hmm. They need to put him in a cubicle by himself. Him or his, yeah, himself. He brag he don't wash. That is just, there's this one, there's so many videos out here. I'll get back to the recalls in a minute. One lady, she was being asked by two or three men, and they asked her, what do you wash when you're in the shower? And she was like, well, I wash my hair and my face or whatever. And then the soap drips down. And then I get out the shower, and they just laughed. That is so nasty. You sit on the potty every day. Men have outies, women have innies. And even men, you have outies, you still need to wash your tail. I believe in bidets. I have a handheld bidet, and my mother said the bidet was the best thing we ever got. In fact, I have two new bidets sitting in there. I have to call someone to install them that have a warm setting on it. I just, how am I going to be in the garden all day? I've had bad spider bites on my legs, and then come after. I mean, think about it. I have chickens. I be out there fighting with the pomegranate trees and animals and grubs and slugs, and I'm picking food, and then I just go in the house, don't wash my hands, don't wash my food, and then get in the bed and don't wash my tail. That is the nastiest thing ever. It's just dirty. I wash my linen about once a week. People get in bed. Yeah, people get in bed unwashed. It's been so hot. I've been having to wash my towels every week because it's like shower in the morning and shower in the evening. And I just, I did, I don't understand. I don't understand how they think they're not dirty. And they go, well, you don't. I see people, why do you wash your legs? Your skin is the biggest organ on your body, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. That is the biggest organ on your body. And it sloughs off dead cells all day long. Like this new Lumi deodorant. There's other deodorants out there like Lumi. I hate when that commercial says, oh, you can wear this for 72 hours. That is just giving dirty people a reason not to shower. It just, that irks me. And then like with the, I was telling you about the woman with the shower, and I just wash my hair and that's it. So you want your man to kiss you and do things intimately to you, and you can't wash your tail? Nasty heifer. Nasty. Okay, so let me get back to the food to the food recalls. Just ugh. And I'm a thick girl, so I know getting in the shower and it wash real clean from head to toe, get out and lotion up. I buy, and I do know how to make my own soap, but I buy like Dove soap. I buy the bars and deodorant. I cannot use solids. If you notice in the store, remember they used to have spray deodorant, roll on deodorant, solid deodorants. They used to have deodorant in the disc. Now all you see are solids. I can't use solids. They break me out. So I order in bulk secret roll on deodorants, and I'll have like 20 in bulk. When I get down to 6, I go and I order some more because I can't wear it. But now the industry is like, you're going to wear this. And it's a lot of people out there like me. So I just need to be clean. I use, what is it like? It's a gold bond, but it has like, let me see right here. What I come in on. Who is the nasty heifer not washing their tail? Oh, Silva, yes. And then Mike said so many. Well, Mike had mentioned that he has a coworker that brags that he don't believe in washing and is always sick, right? Because I had got started. I'm doing this live on recalls on, food safety and people being dirty. And I was like, see, so then I started talking about a lot of people on social media bragging that they not washing. And they just that's just some dirty heifers. This is dirty. You got to wash your tail. And I was saying that, a lot of us are in our gardens all day long. I got chickens, I'm getting food, I'm fighting pests, I'm doing this. So I'm just going to come in the house, not clean my food, and not wash my body, and then just get into bed dirty. And then I was saying that there was this one woman who was being interviewed by these 3 guys, and they just asked her, so when you're in the shower, what do you wash? What do you start with? And she was like, oh, I wash my hair and then my face, and then the soap just goes down my body, and then I'm done. And so I'm like, well, women have innies and men have outies. And I'm like, you want your man or woman, because LGBT community, you want your partner to kiss you and do intimate things, and then you ain't washed your tail? Nasty, nasty, dirty heifer. So, yeah. So we went from cleaning your food to cleaning your tail. And that's just, wash your clothes, clean your linen. It's all in one. And so I mentioned that your skin is your largest organ. Your skin is the largest organ. You have to keep it clean. You have to. And then people wonder why, like, that skin eating disease is so, more prevalent now, because people don't be washing their tails. Just anyway, I heard about that. Lots of celebrities don't wash. I don't know. And isn't it amazing? Like, you see them at the Oscars, at the Grammys, and they all dolled up, and underneath all of that, they dirty and stinky. Dirty and sticky. Wash your tail. How you gonna go to something like that and you ain't bathed? Man, don't even play. Don't even play. I better not meet a star that stink. I'll be so hurt. I'll just be so upset. Like, you are so dirty. All right. So let's see. So I'm going to get more into now FDA versus FSIS, because I could talk about funky people all day, and I don't want to do that all night long. So let's talk about it. So food safety in the United States is regulated by two agencies. I mentioned that. The Food Safety and Inspection Service, FSIS, they regulate meat, poultry, and egg products, while the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, regulates all other food products, around 78% of the food supply. Okay, that's what they regulate. So, FSIS Food Safety Authority comes from the Federal Meat Inspection Act, the Poultry Products Inspection Act, and the Egg Products Inspection Act. Okay, drinking me some iced tea. FDA's Food Safety Authority comes from the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, as amended by the Food Safety Modernization Act. And it said in 2021 there were 281 recalls on food and beverage products. Of these recalls, 47 products were regulated by FSIS, while the other 234 products were regulated by FDA. So they do the same thing, but then they do different things. That's number one. So, food recalls generally, a food recall happens when a company or the government informs the public that a food item is adulterated or mislabeled. Okay. And there are, let me see, I could skip that part. There are three classifications that food recalls fall under. Class 1. This is the most severe class. If a recall falls under Class 1, then there is a reasonable probability that the food will cause serious adverse health consequences or death to humans or animals. FDA sometimes refers to them using the acronym SAHCODHA. And I don't know what it means. I didn't get that part. Maybe when I read further down, it'll tell us. Then you have Class 2. A food recall that is classified as Class 2 means that there is a remote probability of adverse health consequences. And then you have Class 3. Under these recalls, the recall food will not cause adverse health consequences, but the food nonetheless violates a food safety law or regulations. Those are probably foods that may be imported and they haven't been inspected. Not necessarily, yes, keep growing your food. You sound like my mom. They trying to unalive us. Every week my mom said they trying to kill us. They are trying to kill us. She said they trying to kill us. So, but that Class 3 is probably like, it has, not that the food is bad, but it hasn't been inspected or checked, and they want to check it. Like it got past the government some type of way. So let me see. So FSIS provides classification data on the recalls that fall within its food safety jurisdiction. Of the 2021 food recalls under FSIS jurisdiction, 38 were Class 1, 9 were Class 2, and 0 were Class 3. FDA does not provide similar data for the food recalls under its jurisdiction. Now, let's get in deeper. FSIS versus FDA. Okay, these differences primarily stem from the fact that the agencies have different inspection processes. They fired the people that knew what they were doing and replaced them with idiots, pretty much. And you know what? That happens every day in our work environment. Every day. And I'm going to move on from that comment. So FSIS conducts continuous inspections in the facilities which process food under its jurisdictions. This means that FSIS inspects meat, poultry, and egg products that are sold across state lines. FSIS also approves labels on these products before the products are marketed. So, on the other hand, FDA inspects the food facilities under its jurisdiction only once every 3 to 5 years. I thought that was weird. Every 3 to 5 years. Further, FDA does not conduct pre market approval for food labels. So, FSIS, it goes across state lines. They approve the labels on the food before it gets marketed. FDA inspects the facilities and only that are under their jurisdiction and only every 3 to 5 years. And they don't conduct market approvals on the label. So that's the difference between the two. And FSIS does meat, poultry, and eggs, and FDA does all the other food. But there are times where they do cross paths, especially when it's something real critical like the lettuce that we just had with the Taco Bell situation. Excuse me. Okay, because most of the food under FDA's jurisdiction hits store shelves without first being inspected, and FDA does not pre approve food labels, FDA does not have the same ability as FSIS to catch adulteration and mislabeling before products enter the stream of commerce. Okay? The difference in inspection authority has led to a difference in FSIS and FDA's recall authority. FSIS does not have the authority to conduct mandatory recalls, and that's probably because they're catching the food before supposedly it's marketed. But we all know when I read the recalls, the recalls are going out after the food has been sent. So I kind of question that sometimes. However, companies can voluntarily recall FSIS regulated food. Meanwhile, recalls of FDA regulated food can either be voluntary or mandatory. So for FSIS, they wait for companies basically to voluntarily recall their food, whereas FDA can mandate that the companies recall their food. And FSIS is across state lines and they're reviewing the products before they're sent out, whereas FDA only conducts stuff every 3 to 5 years and they don't do the labels and stuff. So there is a difference between the two, but they both help. And that's why when I first started reading recalls, I only went to FSIS, but then I said I better start going to both. Then when the CDC is involved, you will see the same recall across the board on both. They don't care. They just want the public to know. But a lot of times the public does not know to go to these websites and check. And that's when you have your local newscaster casting come in saying, hey, there's a recall on this. When it gets to that level, it is something very, very serious, especially when the CDC is involved. Okay, so next subheading, voluntary vote versus mandatory recalls. Okay, as FIS explains, a voluntary food recall is an action by a manufacturer or distributor to protect the public from products that may cause health problems or possible death. Similarly, FDA's regulations explain that a voluntary food recall is an action that takes place because manufacturers and distributors carry out their responsibility to protect the public and well-being from products that present a risk of injury or gross deception or are otherwise defective. So, when a company initiates a voluntary food recall, the company will usually first notify either FSIS or FDA, whichever agency is responsible for regulating their food. FSIS or FDA will help inform the public about the recall by posting a notice on its website and sending an email to those who have signed up to receive recall information. That's me. I went back into both those websites and make sure all my information is updated, and I am flooded with recalls in my email right now. Take a sip of tea. The recalling company might also set up a web page of their own with information about why they are recalling the food and what resources the company offers the consumers impacted by the recall. The company will also take the problematic food off of store shelves and stop selling it. If FSIS or FDA learn of a food safety risk, but the responsible company has not initiated a voluntary recall, FSIS or FDA can request the company to do so, although companies are usually willing to proceed with a voluntary recall. If the company refuses, FSIS or FDA can detain and seize the food at issue. However, when FSIS or FDA detains and seizes food without the responsible company initiating a recall, the general public is less likely to learn about the food safety risk. Chris says, facts. I work for a very large distributor and we throw things out daily. We are worldwide company. Yep. I work in procurement, Chris. So, yep. Yep. They better be volunteering to get rid of stuff. Get rid of it, because if they refuse and these companies get involved, they gonna be in trouble. Okay. Because FSIS inspects both food products and product labels before they are marketed, problematic foods are usually caught early on. Now, we know a lot of times when I'm reading food recalls, it is after the fact, right? But sometimes the recall will say there shouldn't be any food on the shelves. But if you have it, return it to the place of purchase or throw it away. So I'm assuming they do try to catch it before the food is distributed. Like you saying, they'll have the company throw it away. Because FDA does not conduct pre market food or label inspections of every product, the voluntary recall process serves as a primary line of defense against food safety hazards for FDA regulated food. To help increase FDA's ability to protect the public from food safety risks, Congress passed FSMA in 2011. FSMA, among many things, granted FDA mandatory food recall authority. What does that mean? I'm going to have to look that up. I should have looked that up. I could look it up now, but I don't want to mess up my screens right now. Mandatory recalls. FDA can use its mandatory recall authority if it determines that there is a reasonable probability that an article of food other than infant formula is adulterated or misbranded. Additionally, FDA can use its mandatory recall authority only if the use of or exposure to such food will cause serious adverse health consequences to humans or animals. This is the definition of a Class 1 recall, so this means that FDA can only use its mandatory recall authority for Class 1 recalls. And it says the steps FDA must take when conducting a mandatory recall include, hi, Miss Mac. Number one, FDA must provide the company primarily responsible for the adulterated or mislabeled food an opportunity to stop distributing the food and to conduct a voluntary recall. FDA must give the responsible company notice that it is giving the company this opportunity. Number two, if the company does not stop distributing the problematic food and does not conduct a voluntary recall after receiving notice from FDA, then FDA may order the company to stop distributing the food and order the company to notify others, such as distributors, processors, or grocers, to stop distributing the food. Number three, when FDA orders a company to stop distributing food, it must offer the company a hearing where the company can learn why FDA ordered it to stop distributing the food, and the company can offer defense against the mandatory recall. And number four, after the hearing, FDA will determine whether a mandatory recall is necessary. When FDA decides to go forward with a mandatory recall, it publishes a press release and alerts the public to the recall. Because remember, FDA is not like FSIS. They only do stuff within their jurisdiction and they only check those facilities 3 to 5 years. So if they're doing a recall, they mandating a company to recall their food, they got to go through all this and then they release it. So that's why I wonder when they says, oh, they're getting the stuff out in a timely manner. But if they got to do all this, then how is it being done in a timely manner? I digress. FDA also sets up an incident command operation that ensures there is timely and coordinated communication to the public about the recall. So, in conclusion, FSIS and FDA regulated food can be recalled. However, only FDA has mandatory food recall authority. Even though FDA has mandatory food recall authority, it can only exercise the authority on adulterated or mislabeled foods subject to class 1 recalls. Additionally, before FDA can exercise its mandatory recall authority, it must complete a series of steps which includes giving the responsible company the opportunity to be heard. Both voluntary and mandatory recalls help reduce the risk adulterated and mislabeled food possessed to the public, because the goal of a recall is to inform the public about certain food safety risks and how to dispose of potentially hazardous food. So, what do you guys think about that information? I should have did a poll. Who do you, I mean, so FSIS does not have the authority to mandate a company to recall their food. They have to volunteer to do it. But they have more authority. Well, not authority. They have more information. What do you think? Which one do you think is better? Because I read from both. Do you think FSIS is better, or do you think FDA is better because they have the authority to mandate? Let me know what you guys think about that. I just, to me, I don't know. But FDA, while you guys are thinking about that, when I'm doing the recalls, and I go to the FDA page, FDA usually has a long list of stuff that's recalled, because FSIS is only doing, again, meat, poultry, and egg products. Whereas FDA is doing everything else. They're doing baby formula. They're doing animal, like pet food. They're doing medications. Anything you're ingesting, they're looking at recalls on it. So, I wish FSIS also had the authority to mandate a company. Sylvia says FDA will issue recalled no matter what. If it's within their jurisdiction to do so, and if they're mandating a company to do it, then they have to go through all this stuff to get the stuff recalled. Like it says here, I'm going to read it again because I think you came on after I had already read this. So FSIS conducts continuous inspections all the time in the facilities which process food under its jurisdiction. Like they're doing continuous inspections all the time. This means that FSIS inspects meat, poultry, and egg products that are sold across state lines, period. FSIS also approves labels on all these products before the products are marketed. Now, FDA inspects the food facilities under its jurisdiction only once every 3 to 5 years. So FSIS is out there all the time, but FDA is only out there every 3 to 5 years. FDA does not conduct pre-market approval for food labels. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? So, oops, let me go here. Chris says FDA is okay, but I think FSIS should inspect facilities every year. No, FSIS is inspecting facilities continuously all the time. FDA only inspects facilities in their jurisdiction only once every 3 to 5 years. So, yeah. So FSIS is inspecting all the time. FDA once every 3 to 5 years. And they don't conduct pre-market approval for food labels. So there is a difference for both, but FSIS, yeah. Nikki said what? But FSIS does not have the authority to make mandatory recalls, right? Because both are going to accept voluntary recalls from the company. But FDA has the approval and the authorization to mandate recalls on food that is class 1, which is stuff that's adulterated with salmonella, E. coli, listeria, and misbranded products. So, I mean, they're both needed. It's just that FSIS, yeah, every 3 to 5 years, a lot can happen within that time frame. You're right. I wish they would give FSIS authority to do mandatory recalls too. And I also think that FDA should be inspecting more than once every 3 to 5 years. So both are needed. I don't understand why they both would need it, because you have this one for the meat, the poultry, and the eggs, which is FSIS. And especially because they're doing the meat, the food products, I I think they should be able to mandate, especially when they find out that something has E. coli or listeria or salmonella. He said, "Oh yeah, I think FDA should do every year." But yeah, it said only once every 3 to 5 years. That's crazy. At least once a year, you're right. Whereas FSIS, they they're inspecting all the time. So I think they should have both, because they're both inspecting different, like FDA is doing all the other food, medications, dog food, cat food, human food. They're they're doing everything. And FSIS is just doing, people food. And one can mandate and one can't. So I just thought, you know, wow. Let's take a deep dive into this and what's different. Because when I first started the recalls, um, I just did FSIS because I didn't know. And then I seen stuff, some recalls would say, oh, we'll go to FDA. And then I started going to FDA. I said, well, let me start doing both websites. And then when CDC is involved, like the recent lettuce thing, then it gets even deeper. And then both entities are in it. Silvar said some people have to start getting sick for them to check outside their time frame. Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing. They said they do the recall so they could catch the food, but you guys know when I'm reading these recalls that this stuff has already been out there on the shelves and pooled, and some people have already bought it. I don't think they're. I mean, and then unfortunately, our current government is firing everybody. Like, there's no problem with our food supply. We have a problem with our food supply. So I don't think stuff is done in a timely manner. They want it. I think they want to do it in a timely manner, but they don't have the resources to do it in a timely manner. What is Mike saying? There's only like one inspector per city with millions of businesses. Thank you. Thank you. When I was working for this one city, they wanted all this stuff from procurement. I was the purchasing manager. Number one, government treats their purchasing departments like they're just buyers just buying stuff, and they're not thinking about the consequences of giving them a little bit more authority to do things right. They don't take it seriously until something happens. And, oh, I want to get rid of this vendor. I'm like, well, you threw out the termination clause. You threw this out. They want you to fix what they broke. And our government, like you said, if there's only one inspector per city, how can you fix anything? The same thing with child protection. How many children have been killed? It was one child, one Latino child who was viciously murdered by his mother and his girlfriend. Remember that a few years ago? And the poor caseworkers are overloaded with children, and children are falling through the cracks. Same thing with our food. If you only have one inspector per city with millions of businesses, how is everything getting inspected in a timely manner? Each city needs to be broken up into jurisdictions or whatever, and then you have multiple inspectors for that. It doesn't make any sense. And people need jobs right now. AI can't do all that. AI cannot do everything. You're firing everybody, and we need them. It doesn't make any sense. Nikki said should be monthly unannounced visits. I think so. My uncle was an inspector with the city of Los Angeles. I think it was the city. Yeah, the city of Los Angeles for 30 years. And he and others, and the city is big, and he would have to go and inspect all those places and ticket and put the alphabet, whether it's an A restaurant or a B restaurant or any of that. And I remember him talking, they never ever had enough people. They never have enough people. A lot of these government entities want to do all this spectacular stuff, but they don't want to spend the money to hire the people to do it. They also don't want to train. When I took over the purchasing department, the employees had never been to a conference. Been working there 25 years, never been to a conference based on the profession that they're working in. So I sent them to a conference. We went up to Monterey. We went to CAPA, which is the California Association of Public Procurement Officials or something like that. And they went to a couple, it's about 4 or 5 days, and they went to a couple of sessions. And when they came out, they said, Precious, everything you've been telling me, everything you've been telling us, you're right on. But nobody wants to listen. I get back to work, and everybody's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And the girls are like, she does. She knows what she's talking about. But because they want to do what they want to do and not listen, they take procurement and purchasing as a hindrance. And that's probably what's happening to these people that are inspecting the food. Oh, we don't need that many people. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I would not be seeing 10 to 15 recalls popping into my email daily from FSIS and FDA if we didn't need more. We need more people, and people need jobs. Our generation, Nikki, Mike, we're getting older. We're going to be retiring in a few years. A lot of companies, whether they're government entities or private um, corporate entities, it's like they never succession plan. They wait for the person that has all the knowledge to retire, and then they want to bring someone in. Why don't you make a succession plan for a year? This person's telling you they're retiring the week of Thanksgiving 2027. Start the hiring process now. Let this person be a mentor to the new one, and let that person shadow them so they know what to do. Succession plan. We succession plan our food, right? We talk about succession planning all the time. I just went and dropped some more cucumber seeds, which Nikki, those seeds did germinate and those plants are popping up right now. We succession plant our food. How come you can't succession plant resources like food inspectors for our food? This is our food supply. We buy this food. So I don't understand why they don't do that. The businesses know, so they will push the limits. True, true. Mike, problem with AI is it only knows what it's told. Thank you. Thank you. AI is built by humans. We are all imperfect. Therefore, AI is not perfect. None of these computers are perfect. We expect AI to be experts when programmed by non-experts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are imperfect. We are all sinful. Why are people thinking that AI is going to be perfect? It's not going to be perfect. Not at all. Nikki says, agreed. This is just another way the government is showing us they don't care. Yes. And it's very sad. They're affecting our health. I can't remember what documentary movie I saw. I don't know if it was Food Inc. Because I watch a lot of those documentaries on our food supply. It may have been something else. But this poor girl, it was like in the 90s or whatever. And she had had a burger. They had just bought ground meat. They were camping. And the next few days, the girl got sick. And she almost died. And now the girl, I think this girl is alive, but she can only eat certain things. Another child just outright died. And that was with the Jack in the Box situation. One of the things at the beginning when I was talking about the history of recalls in the 1990s, the E. coli outbreak as the Jack in the Box crisis with the meat. A couple of people died, and one of them was a young child, was a little girl. Died from this, and this is in the 90s. I've been out of high school since 92. I've been out of high school 33 years, 34 years now. Stuff is still going on. Let me see. Daryl, the programmer, knows nothing about food inspections. No, he don't. So AI don't know. Worse is Daryl's boss is getting paid by companies to put in loopholes. Speak on it. Speak on it, Mike. They were getting paid. Getting paid to put in loopholes. Daryl tired. Daryl's boss is tired. I know because I was a manager and I was tired. You get tired. You get tired. And AI does not know everything. It doesn't know. They want us to use it. Fine. We'll use it. But she said, speak easy. Okay. Speak easy. But I don't know. Nikki, you missed a lot. We was talking about dirty people. People not washing their tails. You know, all kinds of good stuff here. But I just thought this would be a good. Mike is correct. It's all about the Benjamins. Yes, it is. I just thought about, we talk about growing our own food, and this is why. This is why we're growing it. We're not going to be able to completely get away from, going to the market. July 2nd, I turned 52 on July 4th. July 2nd, my mom goes to the market and she said she had bought some thighs. She's going to barbecue some thighs. And I'm still at home because I had just had the knee surgery. And so my bedroom, I have the master. It's way in the back of the house by the kitchen. It's right next to the kitchen. And my mom's bedroom is right next door to the garage. And I usually close my door because I need to have it completely dark for me to go to sleep. And my mom said, I just smelled something rotten and spoiled coming through the garage. And the chicken was in the refrigerator. It wasn't out sitting in the sink. You know how you defrost food overnight? No, it was sitting in the refrigerator. My mom said she opened that garage door and she was like, my God. And so she looked, she was like, she's like, did the refrigerator break? She said, because I just got the refrigerator. She was like, if it did, I'll call somebody out. Refrigerator's working fine. Yeah, gross. Gross. And she said she opened the meat and it was slimy and she threw it away. I said, Mom, why didn't you wrap it up and take it back? You know. And she was like, I was just so upset and I didn't feel like leaving the house. So she like double bagged it and tied it up. And it took a few hours for that garage to air out. But you guys know I have multiple freezers, so I went and got like some party wings out the other freezers. I said, well, we could just do this. But yeah, imagine smelling through the fridge. So now we got to bleach out the refrigerator, and it was just, and it's in the garage, and I was like, oh my God. So sometimes my mother is really catching up with me growing food, because at first when I started in 2019 she was like, why are you doing this? And I was like, I just feel that I need to do this. I feel that I need to grow food. And then a couple of years when I got the chickens in 23, she was like, really? Now you're getting chickens? But now she's like, I don't want to go to the market and buy eggs. I want your eggs. And she was like, are you growing this? Are you gonna try to grow celery? Because my mother likes making her soups in the fall. Are you gonna try to grow celery? She's all about, where are you gonna grow? So then I started getting meat this year from, you know, from the from the source instead of going to the market. And she's like, I'm up on that. She's like, yeah. And so now she's just like, every day she's like, they're trying to kill us. And so she said, Precious, do you think it'll make a difference if I go up to the counter and get the meat? I said, no, that's the same meat they cut in the back and they just put it in the counter. I said, it's better for us to go like to, yeah, yeah. I felt the same way in 2019. I was like, I had to. Yeah, I felt like I had to. And I said, Mom, I said, we'll just go to the butcher. We'll go straight to a butcher. I said, when you go to these markets, that meat ain't fresh. It's not fresh. And now she sees it. And now, because of that happening, because sometimes it takes a minute for her eyes to open, but now she was like, oh no, I wasted my money on that meat. I said, Mom, you should have took it back. You should have took it back. She was like, I was just so mad and I didn't want to leave the house. That makes you mad. Stuff is expensive. And in California, when you paying $6 a gallon for gas, and then you go to the market and you barely getting a bag of groceries that's $100, you're going to be mad you spent money on meat that's rotten. And they knew that meat wasn't good when they put it in that package. They knew it. So she was like, should I go up to the counter? And I was like, no. I said, because I said that meat ain't no better. So what we usually do, sometimes we get meat from Costco because my mother likes to get her Cornish hens. And if I got oxtails this time when I bought the cow twice this year, I got oxtails. But she'll get her oxtails from Costco. But we have about four of these places called the Butchery, and we take a little trip to Del Mar, which is the San Diego area, and it's in a shopping center that has restaurants, and we'll sit there and eat. Yeah, I'm with you, Sylvia. Um, and we'll go and we'll get meat. I'm like, well, what meat do you want? And the butcher has a deli there, but they're cutting stuff. It's called the butchery, and there's only four in California. I don't know about other states, but I say if you can find you a farmer that processes meat. My friend found one in California. So the first time I got 1/8 of a cow, 1/8, and that was a little bit over $1,000, and that was a lot of meat. It was about 80 pounds of beef. And my friend went to Texas and she packed it with dry ice and she put it on a plane and came on back with it. So she said the second time she found a person, she had to find a cow. So there are farmers out here. Find the cow. The guy bought the cow, and then he processed the cow. And it was just a lot more to it. Whereas when we went to the farmers in Texas, everything was included and it was a little bit cheaper. So she was like, what do you think? And I was like, I think I want to stick with the Texas cow. Not that the California cow was no good. It was good. It's good. We just had a roast this weekend, but the processing of it was just a lot easier. The only thing is that this farm does not ship, and she had to go get it. Nikki says, I don't like that they use red dye, yes, on the meat as if the meat was just unalive. Don't hide the brown meat. Yes, let's see what the meat looks like because dead meat don't have blood. It's not supposed to be red. But we're so tempted by what we see with the eye. You guys know that Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener, talks about that all the time. When you go to the store, you want the biggest eggplant. My eggplants don't be this big. They don't be this big. Let me show you. Let me show you this. Hold on just a minute. Just a minute. Let me see here. I'm coming back. I don't know. These are homegrown pomegranates. Pomegranates. I'll be sending to Gina versus Gina. Though these are big. Homegrown. Big. Nothing else needed. But you don't see pomegranates like this. This is an ambrosia. It is pink. It's a pale pink ambrosia and Eversweet, which are the two varieties I have. Thank you, Nikki. The two varieties I have are not that deep red, and they are pink. And I think the reason why animals love my garden, is because everything is natural um and organic. But yeah, I want to see what it really looks like. This is an organic, and look how big that is. This is an organic pomegranate. And look at this one. Yeah. I love my small vegetables. I got some little peppers. You said young and tender. Yes, young and tender. Had some small peppers. I went out there and I cut them and I bought them in the house. I went out there, looked at, because my tomato plants are still out there. They're still green. So I'm looking. I got me a juicy Roma tomato, and I told my mom, I said, Mom, go ahead and start using them and eat them, because I didn't get enough tomatoes to can this year. I got a lot, but it wasn't enough to can. So I said, we're going to wait for them to ripen, and I'm going to start cutting them up and freeze them. I'm going to be making them in hamburgers and tacos and everything else. And what we don't use, we're just going to freeze them. Because this year I got like 13 plants, but usually I do 15 to 20 plants, because I know that'll be enough for me to get a good batch, a couple of batches of like spaghetti sauce, salsa, and all that. And it's hot. Yeah. Like right now, I picked off all those tomatoes the other day because had hornworms, and another two. I think it's a squirrel. She done came back and she started biting on some of my big tomatoes, some of my mortgage lifters. She know those tomatoes ain't ready. Animals know, but she's like, I'm gonna bite into this. So I got out there just in time and I just pulled everything because tomatoes, I just put them in baskets and they're gonna ripen anyway. And I'm gonna be making me tacos and burritos and everything else. I told my mom, I said, I just don't want you going to the store um, buying tomatoes. I went out there and planted some more cucumber plants, and the plants were coming up. I went out there to go extra water them, and like bloop 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 bloop, they're coming. Hey, veggie farming, how you doing? But yeah, I'm with Nikki. I don't like that they put red dye on everything, as if this meat is so that meat ain't fresh. That cow been dead about a month. That cow has been dead about a month. Oh, but you guys, so what? I think you guys did answer my question if I go back up. So, who do you think is better, FSIS or FDA? I'm gonna go with FSIS. I'm gonna go with them. They also gas the meat. Yeah, they do. They gas the meat. I'm gonna go with FSIS because they're always continuously inspecting. The only problem is that they don't have the authority or authorization to mandate companies recall. We have a store that sell aged beef. Mm. Is it no? Is that a good thing? None of it's okay. None of it is red. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really switching up the way I eat. I had to go take an emergency visit to this is a good chat tonight. Yes it is. Yes it is. I was flossing. I keep floss everywhere. I was flossing and I hooked my my gum. I had I forgot what my thought was. I was getting into something. I hooked my gum. I think it was about a comment. They also gas the meat. Let me go back up. Good chat. Well, I lost my thought. I lost my thought. I was getting into something. Aged beef. Yeah. I forgot what I was getting into. That's okay. It'll come back to me. Beef in your teeth. It wasn't beef. It was I was flossing and I cut my gum. And so I went to the dentist yesterday and I was like, I think I cut my gum, and she took a picture of it and she was like, yeah, you caught it real good, but it started like healing the next day. Yeah. I was so upset about that. But I was like, was it that roast my mother had made? I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember. But I forgot why I was gonna tell you that story. See the menopause? You see how the menopause is? Nikki, I don't know if you saw that short I did on the I think I said menopause brain, where you say one thing like this is a thingy, this pink thingy right here. I'm telling you, the menopause, the menopause be kicking when you call something one thing or you don't remember what to call it. You said, I know. Ugh, my mind, my mind. But yeah, I'm thinking FSIS to me is better. I'm happy that FDA can mandate, but they have to menopause. And then you said it gets worse. It does. It does. Um, with FDA, they have to go through a process to even to make it mandatory that a company recalls. So that's what I don't like. I think FSIS needs that authority. They both need that authority, and I think FDA needs the authority to do more than one inspection 3 to 5 times a year. They need to be continuous, like FSIS. So if they both had that, I think it would be a lot better on both ends. I think that would help us. But she said that should, yeah, yeah. Veggie says, I feel like FSIS could put pressure on the business to do a recall if they present their findings to the public. Seems like the business would not have much choice but to recall. Exactly. But see, even though FDA can recall, they have to go through like a four-step process. Just to, it says they must find the company primary responsible. FDA must give them a chance. They have to give them a notice, the opportunity to recall it. Step 2, if the company does not stop distributing the problematic food or does not conduct a voluntary recall after receiving the notice, stop distributing food. Wait a minute. Let me read that. The company does not stop distributing the problematic food or does not conduct a voluntary recall after receiving a notice from FDA, then FDA may order the company to stop distributing the food and order the company to notify orders or others. Okay. And stop distributing the food. 3, when the FDA orders a company to stop distributing the food, it must offer the company a hearing. So now you done told them, they say, no, we don't want to do it. Then they order them to stop. Then they got to go to a hearing, and it must offer the company a hearing where the company can learn why the FDA ordered it to stop distributing the food, and the company can offer a defense. Then, after the hearing, FDA will determine whether a mandatory recall is necessary. So you going through all this, right? I mean, between the time you give them notice, yeah, it's too much. Meanwhile, people are getting sick. And FDA can only do recalls on class 1 food, which is the most severe. So now you got some 100 miles of red tape for sure. So now you got food out here adulterated with Listeria, E. coli, and Salmonella, and you going through all these hearings and stuff to finally say, stop your food, stop doing it. So no, I don't think it's done in a timely. I think there should be a better process. Like, we have found Listeria in your food, you're gonna stop right now. You're gonna stop this, and then we gonna go to the hearing. But right now, we about to announce that we done found E. coli in about 5 of your warehouses, so you finna stop, period, and we finna recall it. 100 miles of red tape. All this it takes to get the food recall, people getting sick. Exactly. Yeah. And that's another thing. So when you have one of these, you thinking you got the stomach flu, and you got one of these nasty bacterias. So I think that FSIS should have mandatory authority, and that FDA should be doing more inspections. And I think it would be a little bit better. But that 4-part thing of uh going through all that to make a company um take their food off the market, they if you have to mandate a company and go through all that process, they should put that company out of business, because they don't care about their consumers. They just, all they care about is the bottom line. They don't care who they harm. They don't care who they harm. So I mean, they're both useful. I'm gonna keep on doing recalls from both websites, but I think FSIS is has more. But they again, they only do meat, poultry, and egg products, whereas FDA does it all. And because FDA does have more jurisdiction, they inspect more things. they need to be doing more inspections. Just because a product is does not have meat, egg, or poultry in it, um, doesn't mean that it's not going to be as harmful. Mike says, if I recall, FDA can't regulate USDA. Yeah, that yeah. So companies trying to fall under USDA, but like I said, but there. Okay, so let me go back. Let me see here. Doo, doo, doo. Let me see. Yeah, FSIS is under USDA. So USDA needs to give them the authority. You're right. I saw it on the story. Needs to give them the authority to mandate, which is fine with me. Give them the authority. So, yeah. FDA oversees most meat, voluntary. And then because US, because, crap. US FDA has, they have their authority to do it. USDA needs to give FSIS the authority to mandate. It's wasted. Everybody has a governing authority. That governing authority needs to do more things. Like the FDA needs to make themselves do more inspections, and FSIS USDA needs to give them some type of authority um, to mandate recalls instead of having it all voluntary. You said it's a shell game. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. So, I mean, I'm at an hour and a half, an hour and 26 minutes. Do you guys have any questions or anything else you want to discuss regarding recalls? Let me see. Is this some of the waste and abuse they talking about? Yep, a lot of waste. A lot of waste. Thank you, Nikki. Yes, it's waste and abuse. It's a lot of waste because all this bureaucracy is mucking up the works, and stuff is not getting done. So, but I will try to do a recall video this weekend because I had a lot of stuff come in. I was like, my God, I would have to do a recall video every every day. As much stuff that's coming in. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. When I heard that Wind Down Wednesday wasn't happening, I was like, oh Lord, I don't think people gonna want to come over. They gonna be bored with my conversation. They may need some wine just to get over all this stuff about FDA and FSIS and how they treating our food supply. This is our food supply. It's it's really sad. I think it's good that we're growing our own food. We see what goes into it. We see what we put into it so that it can grow, and it makes us more discerning on what we eat and more just conscious, right, about things that we're putting in our body. Thank you, Chris. Um, of course, every now and then I'm gonna stop at if I'm in a hurry, I'm gonna stop at Popeyes. I tell you what though, I do not stop at fast food restaurants the way I used to. I think of food a lot differently. Oh, that's what it was. When I went to the dentist yesterday, I had told my mom because there's this restaurant called Nick's Burger in Redlands, and their food is just it's so good. And during the pandemic, ever since the pandemic, all they have is drive through. They don't let you eat in the restaurant anymore because they have to let people go. And I told my mom, I wish I had some money. I would go over there. I mean, I had some money, but I'm right now. I'm pinching pennies. I'm trying to hold on to money. And she said, "Nah, we got food at home." She said, "We got McDonald's at home. We don't need no McDonald's." So that's a thought that came into my head when I was thinking about when I had to go to the dentist yesterday. But you think twice before you go out and eat. Best thing we can do for ourselves is grow your own food. Yes. Yes, we can't grow it all, but we can find ways. Like I this year committed to getting my beef from straight from the farm, not from the market. Silvar, there is a simple way to check on the companies. Hire competent people and let the rules be simple. Find a violation. Recall is the consequence, not waiting till people get sick. Exactly. Exactly. I think that FSIS is finding more because they're inspecting all the time. You know? House burgers. Yep. People ask me, people like, "Where'd you get this food from? Where'd you get that stuffing?" Well, we call it dressing. And I'd be like, "Cozy's Kitchen." My mother's name is Cozy. I get it from Cozy's Kitchen. I ain't going out nowhere. I know my kitchen is clean because at least once every 2 weeks, I clean it every night, but I do a deep clean where I take apart the stove and I'm bleaching the counters and bleaching the microwave, and I deep clean the floors. And you wouldn't think the kitchen get that dirty, but it does. I know that my kitchen is clean. And if I get some E. coli or something, it is definitely coming from the food because our stuff is scrubbed clean. She said, "I don't even want to eat out. I prefer to cook at home." Yeah. We Eating out is one thing my family enjoyed. So when we eat out, we tend to go to a restaurant. But even restaurants now, in order, like, I love Cheesecake Factory, but in order to feed that many people, right? Let's say 10 tables are ordering ravioli. Do you really think they prepare the food overnight, or they prepare the food for a week so that way they can slap it and fix the food really fast? Even they're doing a lot of pre pre-made food. Yeah, it's not rocket science. You right about that. Cozy Kitchen. I'm gonna tell her that you like that. Yeah, my mom's name is Cosette, but her mother nicknamed her Cozy. No, the food does not taste the same anymore. It absolutely does not. Um, what did we eat before we had this roast? I wanted steaks. Like when we first got the first shipment of meat, I wanted steaks. That was the best steak I had had in a long time. No gristle, no meat glue, no, no, nothing. It was just so good. Young and tender, Nikki, young and tender. This is the best meat I had in a long, long time. And I'm just like, I can't go back to not going to a butcher. I have to go get that meat fresh. It's so different. And I really wish, you guys have family too that don't understand, or don't listen until it's like too late. I wish people can see what we're seeing. I wish everybody can, but they won't. They won't see it until something happens. I remember years ago when my uncle was alive. Yeah, my mom needs a sign. Um, Let me see here. The food from some restaurants tastes like TV dinner. Yes, yes. Years ago, when my mom's youngest sibling was alive, I've never eaten chitlins. My mother used to buy chitlins and cook them all the time, and everybody ate it. So one day my mom was talking to my uncle, and he said he was in the hospital and he had got really sick. He had ate chitlins for somebody's house and got a worm or a parasite. And my mom told him, she said, "Baby, unless I clean it or make it, don't eat it." She said, "You can't eat everybody's food." I mean, ugh. And who knows when they package, because you know chitlins come in those big old containers, that bacteria was already there, and the person who pulled the chitlins out and didn't clean it, and my uncle got sick. And this was in, because he passed away in 2004. No, he passed away like in 2011. And yeah, you just, this, that was over 15 years ago. I have not had a great steak in so long. I almost stopped eating steak. We have a new butcher I want to try. The place I go to, I'm going to see the place I like, the farm we got it from. I think it was Walnut Creek Farm. Oh, no, yeah, don't try dirty chitlins. Walnut Creek Farm in Texas. Let me see here. I think it was Walnut Creek. Walnut. Yeah, Walnut Creek Farm in Alvarado, Texas. And I'm going to see if I could put the website in there for y'all. But I say also see if you can find a farm near you. So where I live in the pass in Riverside County, going straight down the 10 freeway. It's a lot of cities, Redlands, Ukaipa, Calamasa, Beaumont, Banning. If 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 you if you know, you know. Well, on the other side of the 10 freeway is Moreno Valley, and then you go past, and you have like San Jacinto and Hemet and all these other cities. Well, within that corridor, there are all types of farms. I mean, it looks just farms and dairies, and you can go buy eggs, you can buy milk. I don't have to have chickens. I could just go up the highway and go get me some fresh milk and some fresh eggs, but I want my own. I'm used to my chickens now. I want my own. And they're a little bit cheaper, but I mean, besides growing our own, I'm saying see if you can find you some farms or dairies near you, and just go up to them. Hey, do you guys sell cow? Do you do you guys sell meat? This one in Texas, you can get, now. See, now it says pick up and delivery, but my friend says they don't deliver. They have seedless black diamond watermelons. They have pork packs starting from $175 to $750. And I'm not promoting them. I'm just saying our first cow we got from this this farm. So they have fresh pig. They got beef packs starting from $462.50 to $1,800, and they break it up like half a cow, one fourth a cow, a whole cow. They have peach baskets of 5 peaches, basket of 5, $8. They have a 25-pound bag of peaches, $60. They have a Angus Butcher's freezer box, large, $250. They got chicken, family flock chicken freezer box, $165 for, you get 8 pounds chicken breasts, chicken thighs, chicken tenders, 6-pound chicken quarters, and 2 whole chickens, $465. And then they have different categories. I say check out their website, but also see what you can have in your area, like Omaha steaks. I'm hearing Omaha steaks are getting pretty expensive, but that's another way to get you some fresh meat. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to deter people from going to their grocery store. Sometimes you can only do what you can do. If that's what you have and that's what you can afford, just be very cautious. Check the meat, you know? Yeah. You said you're looking for some good turkey thighs. You can't find them anywhere. This might be one. And because it says they have pickup and delivery. So if you order online, it says $100 orders qualify for delivery. Order early for delivery next day. Orders for pickup available same day. So I wish I could share my screen. I'll learn how to share my screen uh, um, one day. But yeah, I said check it out. Walnut Creek Farm in Alvarado, Texas. Check it out. Now the guy we got the other cow from, because my friend is the one who did all the work, and she found a guy. She had the. You said I'm from Mississippi. If they ship it to you, it's gonna be dry ice. They could still, they could still ship it to you. You never know. You never know. And if you in Mississippi, then I'm pretty sure you got some farms down there that you can buy from. But I said we just have to think differently about our food supply. Oh, you said they're an hour from you? But I had not heard of them. Check them out. And I think I'm supposed to be sending, let me write it down because I got Soul Diva on here, but I think I'm supposed to be sending you some pomegranates, Veggie. Let me write this down because I went and got some more today. Veggie Farming. You got to email me your address because I'm going to be trying to ship some out this weekend. I'm trying to pick them. I'm still seeing some green on some of them. You're supposed to pick pomegranates from September to November, but my squirrels like them now. So I'm looking at them every day, seeing which ones look almost ready to go, and I'm getting them. Like this one, either this one or this one is Gina's. And I got Soul Diva on there. I gotta send some to Jay and Miss Linda. She said, yep, I have to drive about 4 hours north to get to the farm areas. Yeah, but Google it. See if there's some farms in your area that can deliver. Or order it, and then you and your family just one weekend, we gonna take a trip. Leave early, go get your meat, and then come on back home. It takes about 2 hours for me to get to the butchery. An hour and a half, 2 hours. Depending on traffic, everybody be going to San Diego because it's the beach. The beach is out there. But me and my mom will get up. What time does that place open? Go, eat us something, and then come back and get what we want. I think it's worth it. It's better than depending on these markets. Like I said, if that's what you have to depend on, then do what you can. Just be very decisive and be aware. Choose certain markets. My mom was really upset about that chicken. But I told her, I said, Mom, next year we gonna get some of these chicken packs, and we gonna get some whole chickens, and I'm gonna spend money on it, and it's gonna go in the freezer. I'm done. I'm tired of depending on these local markets for stuff. It's just sad, but that's just one of them. That's just one of them. So I say check it out. So we're going on an hour and 45 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and end our live here. But I'm gonna be trying to come on every Wednesday with another topic. Hopefully the next topic next week won't be so depressing, but I think we still have fun when we was talking about people washing their tails. So I I think that was good, but I'm gonna let you guys go, because I know you're in different time zone than me. It might be 10 o'clock where you are, so I know you guys probably got to get up in the morning. But as I always say, please find peace within yourself, and please be peaceable with everyone around you. I love you all, and please like and share this live. I appreciate you all. Bye.